Hey, how's it going, guys? All right. Hopefully you guys caught that long in time. We're just posted as a signal recently, but so far it's still strong. We had a bit of a pullback here, getting close to this local resistance on the left, and we hit it, and we might be forming a tweezer bottom. Normally those help provide continuations if we get that higher high. If not, we should prepare for some consolidation, and hopefully if the consolidation reaches the momentum, that we'll continue the pump instead of drop. But if we get a pump from there, then we'll have a new stop loss guard, so we move our stop loss in the profit zone. What's up, Brian? How you doing, man? You got on this trade a little earlier, didn't you? I can remember you saying that you were already in. What do you guys want to look at? Once Michael gets in here, we're going to be looking at Chainlink for a second, because he wanted me to look at that in the Discord. But Bitcoin's still holding strong. If we go over to, let's take a look at the liquidations heat maps really quick. Refresh this. Hey Ivan, how you doing, man? Oh, this is the 24-hour. So people just went ham on shorts and then just got knocked out already. Let's go over here. The weekly. Yeah, we got a lot of weighted liquidity above us. We're pretty much at the neckline of the larger double bottom structure. So around about $500 million in liquidity above us. So if we go into the charts, it's right here where all that liquidity is. And it began during this drop. So people are still in shorts from this level here, and we're coming up right now to grab their liquidity. So once it's grabbed, which is currently right above, what was it, 69,000? We got, the price tag is 69,150. So we can mark that on our chart. Sometimes what ends up happening is once the liquidity is grabbed, if we cannot find support after we grab the liquidity off the previous resistance, then it's going to be a relatively quick drop. Think of this like a magnet for the market makers. They're coming to try to take the money for exit liquidity. Can you move your screen to the other side? I can hop my face over. Yep. Here we go. I am moved over to the other side. All right, and what we got? Bro, I have a question about CVD. Do you ever use it, and how do you apply it into trading? I do not use CVD. No, I don't apply it. I remember going down the rabbit hole with CVD, but no, I haven't never applied it to my strategies. You can look for divergences in it to help identify potential reversals, but I personally don't use it. What we got? Oh, the ASI mergers today. That's pretty cool. So congrats to anyone who owns any of the three tokens. I believe it's Fetch token, Ocean, and I don't remember the third one. I believe it started with a G, but they're going to be consolidating those three assets together as one today. So you might see a pump, but honestly, I'd rather anyone who isn't already in on any of those three assets just to wait until the dust settles, because there might be some VC involvement with the new liquidity. Hopefully they're just taking liquidity pools from all the existing assets for the merger and just merging it together. But there might be some VC activity if they decide to burn any of their liquidity. That liquidity is trapped on those exchanges forever. And if there's any VC activity, then there might be a drop shortly after. What's my opinion on Carbon AI? I used to have a relatively good opinion on it, but they, yeah, not a fan. I wouldn't recommend it. Can we look at Turbo Crypto? Yeah, we can look at Turbo Crypto. The ticker just Turbo? Yeah, and out of all these, either OKX or BitGet would have the best liquidity. So I'll look at the BitGet chart. Or OKX will most likely have more historical data. So it just recently broke momentum on the 15. And we have the more broad momentum here that it just broke as well. Let's go with the daily and see what's going on with it. Okay, it's at all-time highs, so psychological levels of support and resistance you gotta watch the most. And the order books will be your best friend for this if you can find a good order book for Turbo. When you're in price discovery, there will be usually large volume gaps below you. So whatever consolidative support we end up building at these levels, if we zoom in, we can find out where they're likely to build support if it were to drop. We got this zone right here. You could pretty much box that entire zone, but we're just gonna mark it from top to bottom for now. We have this level here. These are our primary levels of immediate support and resistance that we're going to watch. But yeah, it's in price discovery mode right now. So you got to watch psychological levels. They're the areas that are going to be filled the most in the order books, especially when it's in the price discovery area above the all-time high. So see how the chart right here has a grid? These grids actually show you where psychological areas are, where rounded numbers are on the right-hand side. So watch those levels as areas of resistance and support when you're above the all-time high. And the order books will show you if there's a giant sell wall or anything like that in confluence with those psychological levels. But right now, yeah, it broke its, like, it looks like we have a little bit of a micro double bottom here off of this local demand zone here. And we just broke evolving momentum. Like, if you're not in, you shouldn't be in my opinion. Like, we do have potential growth now that we got caught back inside of this previous little local value area. So the next level of resistance I would watch out for primarily would be up here at this previous value area high. Assuming we even get acceptance in this candle. We got 2 minutes left on this candle. This is the value area low that it's combating right now as resistance. But yeah. But if you're in on a long, you want to bank on it getting acceptance into this value area. And we got about 2 minutes left to see if this candle closes above it. And then the next one, we'll need to see this act as a form of support. And then you might see a continuation to the value area high. But based on the previous price action, it's likely, if it does get acceptance up here, it's likely to consolidate. And that consolidation could tell you if there's going to be a continuation structure, like an inverse head and shoulders, or if we're going to get reversed and come back down. Well, that's pretty much it for Turbo. Now let's see. Let's go back to Bitcoin, see how it's behaving. So far, so good. This candle looks like it's getting a lower high. So I think, yeah, we're likely going to, at least because we have a tweezer bottom reaction, that we're probably going to consolidate until we hit the momentum again. Good evening from Northern Europe. Nice. How about the trend hunting strategy? We just need an email to get out of the cloud and we can hunt for the trade. Yeah, you don't want the email interacting with the cloud with that strategy. It just reduces the win rate. If you see something structurally that says that you can jump in, you can use, you know, the structural behavior like a break of, you know, change of character, anything like that you might think that allow you to front run it, then yeah, you can jump in. But if you're just going based off like the mechanical rules of that strategy, you should wait until the EMA escapes it. Because it's a warning of a continuation of consolidation. What else we got? Can you look at render and WLTH? Yeah, we can look at render really quick first. I've got a render chart. It looks like we got support found here. Okay, let's zoom out a bit. I believe this is daily momentum. Let's go to the 4 hour. All right. So yeah, we have render slowly coming in contact with evolving momentum. That's been holding up since $1.75. So it's pretty relevant. So if we end up losing this momentum, then you'd watch for local support in confluence with this broad momentum here. Right now, let's clear up the charts a little bit, because it has evolved quite a bit since we last looked at it. So we can include a more macro value area, as long as, oh, let's see if we can put that back on there. We've got a local value area structure too. And it's in confluence with the POC. All right. So zooming in, go back to the 15-minute. It's a tough one to trade, but yeah, right now it's showing us that we're at a strong area of interest right here. And we're bouncing off uptrending support in confluence with the POC. Normally I would want to wait for like a break of momentum and a change of character before jumping in on a long. Like I could long this, target the value area high, and then see if there's like a loss of momentum to tell me when to get out. But right now, it's just, its positioning makes it a little bit awkward to do anything safely if you didn't get in on this double bottom reaction. And so it could be trying to retrace to hit these, you know, this previous value area low again, like it did before in the past, and act as a form of resistance. But you ultimately would want to, if you're in on a long from here, hopefully from here, you want to target up here, but watch here for a reaction. And the current momentum that I'd be watching is this here, along the way up. But other than that, there's not much more to it than that. We are consolidating until we pretty much meet its 4 hour momentum here, this evolving momentum. And then you're going to get a really high volume move, whether it be to the upside or the downside when we come in contact with it again. Most likely to the upside based on like the way the market's going right now. You know, if Bitcoin breaks its all-time high, render is going to follow it. That's pretty much it. Any other questions about render before we move on? Looking for an entry on Gala. Okay, we can take a peek at Gala. Bitcoin still chugging along. Okay, we'll switch back to the 15 for anyone who uses the render chart. Save. Alright, let's load up Gala. See what Gala's doing. Let's see. Is that a tweeter top? Yeah, it is. Man. Pretty harsh one. Alright, let's update the fixed range since we last looked at it. We're right at the point of control. If you're looking for an entry for Gala, we're getting put into a squeeze right now. We're basically in a no trade zone, like we're right at the point of control. So I'll be very cautious about entering any trades right now for Gala, long or short. We're at an area of indecision. But for a more macro move, like we're already preparing for it here, we need validation that we're going to not only break this resistance, but also have the value area high act as a form of support, so you don't get caught in a situation like this or any of these, right? We want to see us come out and use the value area high as a form of support and create a higher high, showing us that we're leaving this value area so you don't get caught in a fake out. And then, you know, we got to watch local resistance here. I'm sure this will probably influence the pullback for the value area high retest, but ultimately our target's around here, about 6 cents. So if we end up getting that confirmation for the move to the upside, we have a good swing low guard, then we'll have a really good entry for the 6 cent target. Or, you know, give it more structure. Maybe we'll stay inside this formation a little bit longer and try to get, you know, a long entry near the value area low, or if you see some stress in the market up here, then you can prepare for a short while being mindful of the point of control. But right now there's no setup, man. It looks like it's trying to build a potential inverse head and shoulder setup, but right now there's nothing. Okay, smash them like buttons. Thanks, man. Looking for an entry in Gala. So we checked out Gala. Michael, yes, I was waiting for you to ask about Chainlink. Taking another peek at Bitcoin. And let's take a look at Chainlink. Oh yeah, last time we were looking at it was doing this consolidation here. We were watching it play out as bear flag, but we had some immediate support in our face. So we can move this and watch this level. Its recent high, you gotta be cautious about, is right here. Let's mark it as local resistance. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to reverse off the value area low. We had the POC act as form support. We got a higher high off of it. Well, internally we do, but we need to break this level for you to have any chance of continuation to either the value area high or the downtrending resistance here. Is Bitcoin dropping or a little bit? It's getting squeezed. Let's look at the 5. If it gets crunched like that, you want to zoom in lower time frames. So we have this level now we have to be cautious about. Is there any reason why the morning before the market opens, I have a higher win rate than any other time of the day? Every morning around 7 a.m., I'm usually get an 80% win rate. So that the trading window you're talking about, it's like the pre-session volume. So yeah, there's usually a lot more participants in the morning. So if you're trading in the morning and you find your win rate is higher, that should be a sign saying, like, with your specific strategy, that you should try to focus on trading within that window if it increases your win rate. Like, my window is relatively broad with my strategy. Like, I have a higher win rate if my trade closes before 5 p.m. But yeah, your strategy just works well with the New York session. We got, there are different types of trade participants during each session. Like the New York, they're really good at liquidity hunting. London's pretty similar to New York. Tokyo tends to be mechanical based traders. They pick a direction, they go hard one direction. Either buy or sell, like really hard one direction, high volume. So yeah, if you just make sure when you're doing your trading and you're doing your back testing, you keep track of the dates and the times. Like, box your trades with a giant. We can use like a rectangle tool like this, right? Not that one. Sorry. Anyways, yeah, you can get I think it is a rectangle tool. I just got my programmed all messed up. But you can box your trades and or keep your long and short position tool on your charts so you can monitor them and see, why you won, why you lost, what time of day was it, and then you'll find out like your opportunities occur normally around the same times, and your win rate will fluctuate and change based on which day of the week or which time of the day. And then you can find out, like, you can really narrow down and isolate the best times it is for you to trade personally with your trading strategy for you to maintain a higher win rate. And then the market basically decides when you work based on your strategy. From what time? 9:30 a.m. 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I try to avoid trading during the weekends because it's mostly retail volume. Sessions indicator by Lux Algo is free and simple. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of sessions indicators you can use. There's Trader's Reality. There's the sessions indicator is probably more transparent. Flux algo, like try and make some things simple. But yeah, in your back testing, I would include the session times. And then you'll have mixed sessions too, like London and New York mixing together. And most strategies don't do very well during the mixed period, because you're having a conflict between two market makers, like two market maker pressures, and it ends up causing a form of consolidation every time there's an overlap. And just like that, folks, Billy coming around. Yeah. Okay, and what we got? Missing out on. We got the chat here. Can you look at Arweave next? Yeah, we can do that. Kyle, with your risk calculator for leverage with a current trade with 0.65%, we could use 1.54 times select. Yeah, that sounds right. 0.5% loss. You're going to be able to either add more margin than you normally do, or add leverage to make sure that you're consistent with your budget. In this case scenario, because the stop loss is less than 1%, you can add more money to a trade and still be consistent with the amount that you lose. Or you can add leverage, so add more volume. To be roughly 35% more. And do you plan on doing live streams every day of the week? I do. I don't know if I'll be able to do it every day of the week. Right now I'm doing live streams mainly because I don't have time to do the editing or the thumbnails right now while I'm trying to improve the courses. So to make sure I'm able to provide value on both YouTube and through InvestShare, I'm doing live so I can dedicate that time to both those like subjects, we can take a look at Arweave. We'll do that right now. The ticker was AR, right? I'll just type in the Arweave. Yeah, the ticker's AR. We'll look at it through OKX, I believe will be OKX or Blowfin, but Blowfin won't have very much data on Arweave. Oh man, it just skyrocketed. Oh, I'll look at the 5-minute chart. Arweave is a great asset for anyone who wants to look into something. I think we mentioned this before, but it's basically a form of storage, data storage. But the gas fees that you pay for Solana I know the gas fees are really small on Solana, but a portion of those gas fees are actually going towards the Arweave network to store their transactions on the Arweave network as a backup to the transaction data as like a bonus ledger. And the Arweave does like a lot of basically historical document storage as well to make sure that nothing gets altered throughout history. Like data preservation, basically. It looks like it's getting slowly squeezed. Very slowly. Let's go in the 4-hour, zoom out a bit. Let's go to the daily. All right, we're at historical levels then. Right now I'm just taking the data from last time we consolidated in this range, and I'm grabbing the value area high, the point of control, value area low, and seeing how it influenced the existing price action. We can see that we consistently honored these old levels again. That's a form of support and resistance. And we had support consistently, resistance off the historical POC, and resistance through here, support and support. And basically this just gives you an edge when, especially when it was before we even got here. If like price action came up here for the first time since the last cycle, then you can get an edge in knowing how price action is going to behave around this area. But now what we can do with it is, like, if we end up losing this support level, we can take the current value area data in combination with the existing one and see if there's any overlapping, and so you can see which levels are stronger than the others. So we got the most of the current data is reflecting in the bottom of the structure here. So the previous support is the value area low. So most of the levels we have to be concerned about is below the previous value area low. So we don't have to worry about that for a while. But when it comes to our targeting for a bearish scenario, we have these levels that we can watch out for along the way down. And we're bouncing off of the existing value area high as a form of support. We broke down trending momentum on Arweave from this high here, and now we just recently broke the horizontal previous resistance and also local resistance, because this white line was from the last cycle, and we can see how it's consistently influencing the price action here, and you got a high volume reaction break off of it. So I'll be watching around, if you're in a trade on Arweave, and that's why you want me to take a look at it, I'd watch the uptrending resistance here as your primary target, but be mindful of the local value area influence as well. It's kind of similar to what we were just looking at. I don't remember which asset it was, but it looks like it's trying to get acceptance into the previous value area. If we find support here and we get back above this POC, then we can see it reach the value area high, and we can use that confluence with the uptrending resistance for the targeting. And does that make sense? Yes, no. But yeah, right now we're combating that. There's two areas right now. Put this on my chart. I had to watch this just in case we need to take a look at it later. And Bitcoin's at this level. Look at the 5 really quick. Yeah, I might take some profits. It's like here, just going to the other. Yeah, I'm gonna close half my position. Here. Yeah, close half my position in case, we have the measurable target from this bring us back down to our entry. Yeah. So we have to count on local support and being honored. And this is local support here. And the momentum here. Just gotta let people know I closed half. It's hard to... There we go. Sorry about that, guys. All right, what we got in the chat? It looks like it's bouncing off of the uptrending momentum. Yeah, well, we're not there just yet, but we are pretty close to it now. Next, switch over to 15. Just let it play out a little longer. Give it that opportunity to have support here for potential continuation. But the reversal is going to have to be pretty vertical from here. Like we're going to pretty much have to go straight up from here in order for us to maintain this momentum. Yeah, when you ever see crunching like this and you have a hard time deciphering what it means, always zoom in on the structure, and then you can see if it's like a double top or a pennant, and then you can find out what the key levels are for that time frame to be mindful of. If they were to break, you can at least get the measurable target from the double top and see where that measurable target brings you. And if it brings you to like a momentum or a level of support, then it could be a good reason to stay in. But if it brings you, past your entry to your target or to a level where a change of character could occur that you'd want to be concerned about, like a certain level that you don't want to break, then you can listen to it and say, okay, I'm going to take like full profits or 75% out or 50% out. Let the market dictate your exits. But you shouldn't try to find a way to argue with yourself when you're at your target. Don't hold it too long if there are some concerns at your target level. Like for example, like our current target is in confluence with a really strong level of resistance, so you might have to get out. Okay, what we got? So Aave is next. Aave. What we got for Aave? Let's go to the daily really quick. It's been a while since I looked at it. Yeah, I was preparing for a long or a short here. Doesn't look like I entered on either. All right, we have. Yeah, we broke its downtrending resistance from its all-time high. It's been consolidating ever since, other than this one little period where we broke this descending triangle. We already hit its target. Right now it's at its value area high, acting as a form of resistance, still maintaining its momentum. You got a bit of broad momentum here. Following here. And zoom out on the 15. Yeah, so we lost the daily evolving momentum here. It came up, had acted as a form of resistance. It looks like it's trying to downtrend its way. It looks like it might be getting squeezed a little bit, but Here's the downtrending resistance. Trying to decide where the best place to pull the support. You try to get as many full body connections as you can. We got, so this is the squeeze. Like it's, while it's active, it's bearish, but they tend to break to the upside. And you watch your key retest levels. Right now, we have a key level right here and here. So if this breaks in confluence with the downtrending resistance, you'd break the right side fractal to a potential larger double bottom structure. The measurable move from here and it's just above this resistance, so it might give you enough momentum to break this neckline resistance here. But that's the confluence I'll be waiting for. A close on the 15-minute above this. See if there's any swing low guards. Use that for your stop loss placement. The technical target, textbook wise, is always the top of the formation, but you should be looking at the strongest level of support and resistance within the upper side of the structure and see where you can use for your targeting. And that's where I would personally be targeting here. And then once you get that confirmation, you see what your risk to reward ratio is along the way up. But you got some time before this one plays out. The more time it takes, the better the risk to reward ratio. Because you might have a new setup, like a new key level that you can watch that's lower for your reversal. But this, honestly, like, it's kind of like a picture perfect reversal structure for a falling wedge. Do you have any other questions about this one? We do got a little bit of time before it would to confirm, but it is a good play. The drawdown fear is close to 2%, so you'd be putting roughly half of what you normally would in a trade. Just make sure you're consistent with your losses, but still a good setup. Do you think the S&P price action is affecting the price? Yeah, I always think of the inflows and outflows from the S&P and how it could impact the valuation of Bitcoin. Like, I watch the DXY more than I do the S&P, but yeah, they're correlated for sure. You gotta think of the S&P as like the heartbeat of the economy. You see how it's behaving, and then it gives you an insight of what you think is going to happen to the crypto space. Does it make sense to take a long now on Bitcoin? I wouldn't. Like, if you're trying to see, I understand some people wanting to jump in again on a pullback. You can look at the new structural guards and look at the remaining, but your reasoning for entering is different. Like, you'd have to have, like, for me to want to jump in on a trade late, it'd have to be pretty shortly after it's confirmed. And if I say, for example, I don't like the current swing low guard, I might wait it out and see if there's a new retrace that I can use to protect my capital instead. But for me to say enter in late on Bitcoin, I would say at first wait, because we just had a negative reaction to local resistance. I'd wait until that breaks first and see what your swing low guard is there, and look at the measurable move for the larger double bottom, as well as the limitations for the structure. And the current limitations are this downtrending resistance here, as well as this macro point of this macro previous value area high. But at that point, depending on how tight that swing low guard is, your risk to reward ratio isn't going to be that great. Maybe a 1 to 2 if you're stretching it for this target. But yeah, right now, I don't see any reason to enter on a long other than the fact that we have down here. Which DXY chart do you use? If I go... Use the XPX one here. Right here, the S&P 500 Index TVC. Oh, it's DXY chart, sorry. DXY chart is the TVC one too. I just see what its price action behavior is and see if I can anticipate any potential reversals in the structure, so I can be warned. Like basically, it's a good warning or confluence because it has a inverse reaction to Bitcoin. So if it's preparing for like a double bottom here and it confirms, then you can likely see Bitcoin to drop as this pumps and vice versa. Like we're having a drop right now in confluence with the local resistance. So Bitcoin has had a bullish reaction to it. We do have a meeting today. And I believe it's GDP. So GDP has negative results. Then we should see a negative reaction to the DXY and a positive reaction to Bitcoin's price. Jasmi is off to the moon. Did Jasmi run? We're looking at pretty recently. Oh yeah, we were preparing for this setup, but never confirmed. And we just broke it recently. Now what we have, we can redraw this. Since the last time we looked at it, yeah, it evolved and became a descending triangle, and it ended up breaking to the upside here. It broke past its value area high, and now it's at its descending triangle target. So this is the target of this structure here. And the target of the previous structure was pretty high, because our next level to be concerned about is up here at 0.34287. I zoom out on the, let's go to the daily, see how we're positioned structurally here. And we broke this structure, and we have previous resistance act as support. So it's getting a little continuation. But this structural target, yeah, it's way the heck up here at 7 cents. So it's still climbing. This is the daily momentum I'd watch. The daily momentum, let's see, they do help as a guide to tell you roughly how long it'll take for it to hit a target. And we have some evolving momentum here. So it's thinking, if we maintain the current pace, 58 days to hit that target. It could go straight up parabolic and get there faster, but we are at a point of exhaustion. So I don't think it'll happen during this structure, obviously, but we're likely going to get a reset after hitting here, and then we could build a larger structure to help that continuation to go up there. This is a critical level along the way up. It's not a very easy target to hit, no matter how big that structure was. ES just dumps from the New York Open and is not helping Bitcoin. Luke says I'm out. Does that mean you took profits on Bitcoin? I want to see how the next 15-minute candle reacts. He's the next one, I believe, is the last. Yeah, it's the last opportunity for a recovery and maintain this momentum here. And it will give us an opportunity to adjust our stop loss if it does recover here. I'm not out just yet. I did take 50% out, but Kyle, why did you stop trading the Bulger strategy? I just find that it has a lack of opportunity. There's not as very many opportunities with it, but it's a very mechanical based strategy, very easy to follow strategy, which is really nice. But I just find that I am a lot more successful just with the strategy that I've got, a little hybrid strategy that I've got going on. And I'm trying my best to post as a signal every single entry that I do. So my signals, my log, it's basically my trading journal. So if I'd rather just, stick to what I've got because I know it's working really, really well. But there's nothing wrong with that strategy. It's got a pretty good win rate, and it's very, very, very easy to follow. Yes, took a small win, got $120 late. So my risk reward wasn't like yours. I have to stick to my NRR. Yeah, right on, man. Congrats on the gains. What do we got going on? Did I miss any other requests? Can you look at IVL? No, ILV, sorry. So ILV, that's a gaming token, right? Luvium, yeah, that's gaming for sure. We have let's look at Binance's chart. Let's go to the daily. Okay, so last time I looked at it was waiting for a confirmation off of this level. It looks like we got it. Surpassed the technical target. Now we can get rid of this. We don't need that. Pull the fixed range from the start of this consolidation to where we currently are. We do got like head and shoulders like behavior. But this is on the daily, so it's a pretty now we did just break this downtrending momentum on the daily. But we never confirmed the break of that high there. zoom in on the 15-minute. It's kind of a bit of a fast-paced falling wedge here. It just recently lost this local support within the structure, and it's trying to get back above it. It's acting as resistance right now. Got a bit of an automatic rally here from limit orders. I don't know if it'll successfully break through this, but the only thing that we've got right now is this momentum. So this area here is going to be a pretty critical zone. And I'd anticipate preparing for a short here. But if it ends up breaking through it, then just watch local resistance. Basically right here. And in confluence with this level. So this will be the next level you'd be concerned about if we break past this. But so if we get acceptance above here, watch this for resistance. We might come back down and retest this and maybe get inverse head and shoulders behavior. And that could be enough momentum to break the resistance here. But right now, we got to be cautious. EVM's this got a lot of Ethereum liquidity, I'm pretty sure, last I checked. And, Ethereum's chain influence comes from Bitcoin. So Bitcoin will influence Ethereum, Ethereum will influence IVL. Just watch out for that. Any other questions about IVL before we move on? We just had a nice amount of buy limit orders hit just now on Bitcoin. Nice, so that's going to hold it up a little bit, but if it just filled, that means they're not going to be there anymore, unless there's new orders. You have don't have very much below us now. Tiny little wall at 68,000. That's like $300 below us. Yeah, for the next 10 minutes, we're going to have to go pretty much straight up from here. Daily has a nasty narrative. Bouncing against uptrending momentum nicely. We are retesting the W pattern breakout on Bitcoin. This should hold. We can add to our position. I would add to the winning position if we break resistance. But remember, you're going to be hurting your average. So if your average is here, you want to try to control your average so it's still guarded by structure. So you'd only add the amount required to bring it to a level where it's still guarded. So you can have your stop loss placement at your entry for your new average if you do something like that. Like for me personally, I would, on a trade like this, if I were wanting to add to the trade, I would even be hesitant adding it, even a break of this, but I'd definitely add it if we broke. You know, if we got out of this value area here. Should probably update. You don't need that. Yeah, 9 minutes to pump straight up. You can do it. What's a 5 look like? Yeah, I get a bit of a round curve structure. So you might break it. We have super short-term momentum here that we can visualize. But anything on this time frame is tough to trust. Especially when we get crunched like that. Hey Kyle, may you look at Aero. Arrow. Let's take a peek. Is it a token or a stock? Aerodrome. I guess we'll look at it on KuCoin. They'll probably have wicks like, yeah, you see that? Called that. And crazy wicks usually on KuCoin. It looks like a low market cap asset, so okay, so yeah, it recently broke, like this is the entire chart, I'm not sure, but on KuCoin it broke down trending resistance on the macro, but it's only been listed on here since April. We lost this uptrending momentum on the daily. We got these wild wicks of trying to get acceptance back above it, but we never got the acceptance. We just, you know, we're still losing that level of support. So that's a really critical area right here on the 4-hour time frame that we need to break past in order for us to even have a chance to get back above this level. We got, what kind of local support do we have? Let's pull the fix from this consolidative point to here. So we got a really strong key area here. All right. But yeah, these are your primary key levels. Like we're just lost momentum and we're keep getting it, looks like it's getting its butt kicked still. So it might be pushed down to the point of control at $1.11. But for a bullish, if you want to see a bullish move, we're definitely going to need to break this value high and have it act as a form of support in order for us to see any kind of continuation with this. But it doesn't look like it's doing too hot. I don't know much about the asset, but it doesn't look very frictionless. So I would check to see what its inflationary tokenomics looks like. If it's minting tokens all the time. So it doesn't look too frictionless. So it looks like it's casting rewards. And you can sell pressure from it. I'll take a look. Aero. Aerodrome Finance. It's AMM, Central Liquidity Hub, combining liquidity engine. So if it's an AMM, it most likely does give out rewards for providing liquidity to their platform. So I'd keep an eye out on how its inflation rate is impacted then. It's going to add added sell pressure to the asset. What do you think of the meme coin called beer? Is there anything to think about? I don't know. We can take a look. I will look at Fantom first. Looks like Jasmi is still running. Oh, look at that. Yeah, broke past his technical target. Only hurdled there a little bit. It may come back and retest this, but if overall this is the main level you're gonna have to watch. It's in a low gravity area. There's a big volume gap here. All right, let's look at Fantom for vacation. So we have an FTM chart. I'll take a peek at that. FTM. Okay. Like Fantom. Yeah, hopefully it recovers. It was one of my favorite assets, like for the last bull run. But this cycle, I don't even own it because ever since the CEO problems, I just find it's had a hard time getting its ground back. We did break this downtrending resistance here, and we're consolidating off this local support and previous resistance, right? We're still holding it, but locally we're getting warnings that it's trying to escape the value area. When we come up and we meet the value area low like this, and we have it act as a form of resistance, the moment you get that lower low, it confirms that we're losing that value area. And when you're drawing your formations, when you're drawing with formations, you know, no matter how you draw it, you should listen to the value area more than your trend lines. If we see, like, for example, a break to the upside, and confluence with that, you see a value area retest in a higher high, then you can have that added confluence for your longs to validate that we have actually left that formation properly, so you don't get caught in a fake out. Because let's say we break down trending resistance, but the value area high is up here, you then have to worry about that limitation for your longs for that formation breakout. But if the confluence of the break gets you out of the value area at the same time, and you have like a retest, then you're gonna have a much higher win rate following those kind of trades. But right now, yeah, it's trying to escape the value area, but if we get acceptance back in it, this is the key level that we can watch for hopefully a double bottom reversal. And I would love to take a long like that. Like those kind of longs are my favorite. When you get the acceptance back inside the value area in confluence with the change character, break of momentum, those are my favorite kind of setups. And the only thing you have to watch out for is the POC, and you can target the value area high. So there's both a long and short setup getting ready here. The short is a lot less beginner friendly, but if we get that confirmation to lower low, you look at local support, and you look at any, like, if you see any of this consolidation points like this before a continuation, you got to watch them as a form of demand or supply. If it's on the upper side, watch them as a form of supply. If it's on the bottom side, watch them as a form of demand. So I tend to mark these levels as well along the way down to prepare for any strong potential reversals. if it confirms to go to the downside, this is going to be our first barrier that we watch. So I'd mark that entire level wick to wick and prepare for a potential reversal in this area too. But the long risk to reward ratio, we don't know where the stop loss is going to be yet, but so far we want it to be around here, but it's not up to us. So if we don't get the good structural guard, then I wouldn't take the long personally. This is the hourly time frame, so maybe we can get better. Like lower acceptance. No, the same. Yeah, same acceptance structure. That's pretty much it for Fantom. How do you find your value areas? So, a good rule of thumb for mapping out your value areas is seeing either 2 levels of support or 2 levels of resistance before you start drawing it. Like after a trend-based move. So we had a move to the downside here, and we have, you know, support, resistance, support. So we have 3 touch points that we can use. We can start pulling the value area here at this moment. Then that's when I can say I can trust this value area to give me data that I can participate on trades with. And then I'll trade off the breaks of momentum and acceptance into the value area, either on the upper side or the, you know, downside. I'll prepare for the longs and the shorts in this range until, you know, formations are formed. And then the formations are going to tell me like what kind of behavior to expect for this value area and what the directional bias is, most likely because of the structure. But so long as you have like 2 areas of support or 2 areas of resistance, you can start drawing your value area. Or if you can draw a formation, anywhere you can draw a formation, you can draw a value area. There's different ways you can use value areas and strategies. You can use the intraday, like what's going on in just that one daily candle, or you can use structural behavioral value areas like I do that tend to give you really solid setups. And the value areas are a good guide to tell you that you actually have left the formation properly so you don't get caught out in fake outs. If you want to see, you know, a break of the value area and a retest of the value area high, and then you know that it's acting as a like it's telling you that we're leaving this value area and then we're going into the next one. And you can use, you know, visible range volume profile data, or you can zoom out and see at the previous areas of consolidation, grab their fixed range volume profile and say, okay, now that we broke out of this value area, how are we going to behave based on previous value area data? And it gives you a massive edge in the market. It gives you all the key levels that you need to worry about. All right, we got that straight up balance that we needed. Okay. And this candle here is the acceptance candle. We need to see this candle close above this white line, or else how it'll look like, it'll look as if we have a wick here if we don't get that acceptance, and this will be acting as a form of resistance. If that's the case, I might just close the whole trade. But if we get acceptance up here, even just on the 5-minute, I feel a lot more confident about the setup for continuation. And we get that higher high. The moment we get that higher high, we can move our stop loss from here to the pretty much our entry, right below the swing low here. So right where our entry is, or at least my entry is. So it's basically a strong support and resistance area when consolidating. Yeah, so the way you should think of the visible range volume profile is that or at least the way we have ours programmed, you should program yours this way too. I'm not saying it's the best way, but based on what I back tested, making sure that your value area volume is at 70 is really, really important. It's telling you that 70% of the volume resides within this value area. That's what defines the value area. Everything in here is 70% of the volume because of the settings that we have. So it'll construct the value area high and the value area low based off of that. And the rows, when you adjust your settings for the rows, all it really does is gives you more of these little candles. And like having like 200 really allows you to see the valleys properly, the strong areas of interest, what could become the point of control, like how, you know, if we ranged up here a little bit longer, how this would evolve to become the point of control. So yeah, the point of control is where the most of the volume resides in this area. So you can tell the more we range in this zone, and more of a weighted impact that this area is going to have in terms of support and resistance. But yeah, you want to wait for your longs near the value area low area, wait for your shorts near the value area high. For some people, they'll use it in confluence with like Fibonacci. For me, I use it in confluence with market structure and momentum. So if we break down trending momentum, I'll wait for a good change of character or break of structure, and then I'll target the value area high and have my stop loss below the swing low. Stuff like that. If the positioning isn't right and the R&R isn't right, then I ignore the setup and I'll just wait for the next one. The Bollinger or trend hunting strategy, which one has more opportunities on the hourly? I would say the Bollinger Band strategy, but the trend hunter is much more profitable than the Bollinger Band strategy. You'll make more money because it's a trend-based strategy. You're going to be getting bigger moves, but you have to be a little bit more alert with a trend hunter strategy. Whereas the Bollinger Band one, you tend to be using it in times of consolidation. So you'll get not always the most perfect setups, but you'll get really good swing failure catches with the Bollinger Band strategy. So find a ranging asset and back test it first, because the back testing you see in the course for the Bollinger Band strategy is based on Bitcoin. So back test a ranging asset, like a really good ranging asset example is Energy Web Token. That thing just ranges for days. Like its average range is 60 days. Chainlink is a good one too. Chainlink ranges a lot. Like we can go over the Chainlink's chart. Like its most recent consolidation before we had that big breakout was like 560 days. And a good trending asset is Cardano. If you want to capture, it's kind of tough to catch it sometimes, but if you get the trend for Cardano, you tend to be in it for a very long time. But this is the Chainlink's price action. If you're not already aware of it, we go to the daily really quick. But look at how its behavior is. Like during the bear market, we ranged for over 500 days before we caught it with that flag. And then here, during its consultative zones, we ranged here for about 82 days. We ranged up here for 68 days. We came back down in this range for 34, and now we're getting caught back into the previous value area. We're trying to use the value area low as support, so we're likely going to be caught in a range again here, and hopefully continue to go up higher for Chainlink. Because I feel like we've been waiting a while. Like for those of you who jumped in with me around like $7, we've been really patient. Like really patient waiting for this thing. Like 200 days in this zone. But it's accumulating, so we could break this really strong level of resistance here. Like I made this line like super thick just because we knew that it was going to be a problem. And then it's low gravity from here again. Pretty quick moves to at least $28. And then we have the $32. This is the all-time high for its market cap. I know it's lower, but we had 7% inflation for 7 years. For 7% inflation for the past few years, sorry. So it brought down the market cap all-time high to this level. So we're watching that along the way up. I could clear some of this chart later. Yeah. It's got its own relative strength lately. It does whatever the fuck it wants. Whatever Bitcoin's doing, it doesn't matter. This thing just does whatever. All right, so Bitcoin's getting acceptance and support here. Sweet. Thank you for all the recent lives. I don't get to be on live, but I watch them later. No problem. We can look at Cardano, yeah. The line acted as resistance. Oh, you mean support? Yeah. So officially take Kyle, you don't like beer. No, I don't like alcohol, period. It's just, I have just as much fun drinking orange juice than I do alcohol. So I will not spend the money on alcohol. It's hurting my body when I can just, yeah. But no, not a fan of alcohol. And beer especially. Like it just tastes like this to me, man. It tastes terrible. Okay, so let's look at Cardano since we got someone requesting us to look at it. Cardano is like a slippery fish. Trying to catch its moves. It's like you'll be right, but then it will just come after you. So I won't trade it often. But here's what I mean by it being like a trend-based asset. If I go to the 4-hour, I know these don't look like that much, but when you catch the moves, when it loses its momentum and it confirms its structure as resistance, it'll go down usually at a very slow pace, very sluggish, slow pace. So this structure here, for example, we were in a downtrend for like 20 days before it finally broke its resistance. And then it went up through here, and before it lost its momentum, it was like 38 days. And if you caught any of this baloney, its downtrend, technically its momentum field lasted a very long time, like 185 days, but really I'm hoping that you're out down these like key levels, but it maintains trends for a long period of time before it loses them. But when it loses them, it's always like a relatively high volume reaction. And right now, as we speak, we're at another, we're still holding this high area of interest, like super high area of interest as a form of support and resistance. And it's been dancing around it for like 47 days now. So I'm going to remove this data and we're going to refresh this chart a bit. So we get the fixed range here, to here. We got a bit of an uptrend. So this is the limitations of our short-term trading within these boundaries. And we got, let's go to 15. We could see downtrending resistance here. So it's getting squeezed against the resistance and the uptrending support here on the 4 hour. So this is like its recovery box right here. The key level to watch currently, unfortunately, is way up here. That's our last retest. The momentum, break this, then we'll see a strong recovery back to the value area high, and watching the confluence of this resistance. But it could come down much lower before breaking this. And we could come down as low as here before breaking it. And then we can be watching for a strong reversal. So the ETA is over a day, like a day and a half before we get a good answer. Assuming we don't try to reverse like immediately, like straight up, that's what we're looking at, roughly a day and a half before we get a trade on, a safe trade on Cardano. Kyle, we need a cool gang name. Investabuds? we'll brainstorm a little bit longer, but that's funny though. Yeah, I'll let you guys decide your name. I don't know about that one, but that one's funny. Investagang. Can we check rats? Yeah, I can check rats. Whenever I look at that asset for anybody, it feels dirty, but I'll do it. It's like the Unfee, the new Unfee. Oh, I'll start typing Unfee. Do I have a rats chart? I think I've made one, right? Oh, I do. Gross. Okay. Please look at not USDT. Yeah, I'll look at that one next. And then I'll look at that beer token. I know someone want me to take a look at it. But looks like rats just hits a point of control and value low as resistance. Don't know where it came from, so let's find out. Oh, it's a very, I forgot how young rats was. It's that tiny little consolidative point. We marked the value areas for it because as we approach it, you got to be mindful of how it could influence the price action, and we got smacked right back down from it. But looking at this structurally, it could be trying to recover. It's got a bit of a parabolic curve. For those of you who don't know, parabolic curve, where's the trend line tool for it? Should be on a paintbrush. Yeah, under the curve section here. It's a trend line with 3 anchors. And your goal with trend lines obviously is try to get as many connections, touch points as you possibly can, so it becomes more and more accurate. But the problem with parabolic curve trend lines is that it's really subject to failure. Like, you gotta have quite a bit of retests along the way for you to be able to depend on it. It doesn't mean it's not important to use for tracking, because you're gonna get an idea, like a window period, telling you, okay, we have all this negative space. And the more negative space you tend to have, the harsher the opposite drops tend to be. Like, if we pump, it's going to be more likely to drop really hard. Same thing with the parallel, like the opposite. When it looks like we're tending to go down, the more harsh the drop, the more harsh the recovery. Okay, this was the level you would want to watch the most for this parabolic state right here. And now it's right here. One sec, guys. I'll be 1 moment. Sorry, guys. My wife brought me an ice cap from Tim Hortons. Okay, so yeah, we just hit, for rats, we just hit this local resistance. We're trying to maintain this parabolic curve. The local level of support that you would want to watch is right here, right now, at 0.001537. We can potentially see consolidation here if this is maintaining as resistance. Watch for any double top reactions and a loss of this momentum and confluence with that, and then you would have your short opportunity. But overall, we really want to see us use this previous value area high act as a form of support so we can get out of this area and recover and get back inside of this zone here. But I don't know anything about this token, but just based off of the name and the age and the current behavior from the age, I am not a fan. There's probably another meme. But anyways, going back to, I'll put this back in the 15-minute for you, Wagner, because I know you trade this thing like a beast. I'll save that. And let's go back to Bitcoin, see what it's doing. All right, still recovering really well. I have about 8 minutes before my next coaching call starts, guys. So I don't have very much more time. Kyle will resume after wife aggro. Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking for Sol to make a lower high here on the 15-minute for a potential short scalp. So let's take a look at Sol. Lower high. Okay, you need to break this level here. That's what you're watching for. Loss of this momentum and confluence with that. We did reclaim this support level right here. Yeah, we were waiting for a long opportunity. We never played out, nor got the entry. Yeah, after it lost that momentum and lost this low, it's pretty much been dropping. Now it's trying to recover back inside the structure. We can adapt, yeah, we can evolve the fixed range here to capture all this data, since we never got the confirmation of us leaving this value area. We're close here, really close here, just never validated support. So we might creep up if Bitcoin pulls up the price action for Solana. But overall, yeah, you should be preparing for a short, not a long with Solana. You missed out on the long opportunity down here, unless you're in it. But right now we have the confluence of the point of control and this low being in the same location. So if we double top from here and we get that break, you can watch for the short and whatever you have for your swing high guard. Be great. I would prefer us to meet this value area high first before thinking about a short, but if you don't like where we are structurally, then just don't take it. But I do like the confluence of losing the point of control, because when we lose it in confluence with that, change of character, it gives it the opportunity to act as resistance to protect your stop loss. So you'll have the additional protection from your the structural guard from the price action, but also the guard from the point of control. Get as many bodyguards for your capital as you can. All right, 5 minutes before I gotta go. Well, preferably 4 minutes, so I give myself a minute to prepare. I got beer. I got in on beer with $100 on the 24th. Okay, well, let's see where you are with your position there. Let's see what we can do, what you can do to manage it to make sure you get as much profit as you can. So beer coin? Is that what we're looking at? What's the ticker? Can't be. Yeah, beer USDT. I don't see an option for it. I see this. Solana. Yeah, this one here. Did you look at the liquidity? So it looks like it's mostly decentralized. Radium only. It's new. Oh, okay. So since it's pullback, so this was the first liquidity here. I'm thinking that's it. Yeah. It's a weird supply. I'm sure they just did that for fun, not for a real reason. It looks like it evolved its liquidity, like it spread out too quickly. Or pulled liquidity from Jupiter, moved it into radium. I don't know much about this one. Beer isn't just another coin, it's literally liquid gold. It works as a universal currency of enjoyment, bringing people together regardless of the skin color or social status. Come grab some beer. Fight your friends, have a great time. Okay. Just pure meme. So you can transfer the beer tokens to your friends and then say, here, hold my beer. And become a part of. It's fucked up meme. So yeah, there's not very much structure for us to go off of, but we do have, you know, these equal highs here that it's struggling to break past. So there's a sell wall definitely here. Without even looking at the order books, you can tell there's a sell wall here. If it loses this momentum in confluence with a break of this level here, then you can have a relatively big drop down back inside this valley area. So you watch this valley area behavior when you're doing your technical targets for the short. So these are your key levels along the way down. And maybe within this area, you could consolidate and build a larger structure to help tell you whether or not this is going to be going much higher, or if it was just a dud and it falls down to nothingness. But just because something's brand new doesn't mean you got it at the best price. So just be careful investing in these things. They're okay to trade, but they're really risky to invest in. And even trading wise, like if it's a really low market cap asset, and you do the math, you can find out like what could $1,000 do to this thing? Could $1,000 even move it, or can $1,000 cause us a pump 2 or 3%? If you find out that $1,000 can do a relatively decent move on this thing, then you have literally every single participant to worry about with your trade. That could cause, you know, a wick like this or like this that could hit your stop loss hit unnecessarily when you're trying to get your target hit. So for this, I would never trade it. And personally, I wouldn't invest in it. But if there is an opportunity in the terms of the structure that says there's an opportunity to invest in it, then maybe you can buy it with a very, very aggressive stop loss, like a relatively low stop loss in terms of percentage wise. But yeah, that's all I gotta show you. Going back to Bitcoin, we're doing good. So we need that higher high so we can move our stop loss here, guys. But I've got to go. I got a coaching call that starts now. So I will see you in the next one. I really appreciate everyone who's been watching. I hope everything we went through together has helped someone learn something. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching. Didn't realize how hard Jasmi is pumping. I'm at 100% profit from May 1st. Nice job. That's awesome. Doubled your money. It was more of a joke thing. Worked for the better, but then other trades. Yeah, I hear you. I just want to make sure. Take a peek. Make sure you're good. All right, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.